Today on Drawbli.
I had a drawing competition with myself and I won.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Abby.
And we are self-taught artists documenting our journey of learning to draw, which is of course better with friends.
So click that subscribe button if you're new around here and share your work on Instagram with #Drawbli.
Now, Abby, you had a drawing competition with yourself?
Well, let me elaborate on that statement. It bears elaboration. So here we have
Because wouldn't you both win and lose?
Isn't that life? Anyway, as you can see from this JPEG, I have gone in my classical direction of biting off far more than I can chew.
Now, why do you say that this is more than you can chew?
Because look at his shirt.
I'm looking at it.
Would you just look at it?
It's pretty complex.
It's pretty complex.
But I feel like you could break it down into some big shapes, you know? Medium shapes.
Yes, eventually.
Eventually.
When I say I had a drawing competition with myself and won, I had a drawing competition with myself in the same way you might have a running competition with yourself. In the same way where maybe you've always just barely been able to run a mile.
Like you're setting a PR, or a personal best or
and
record.
then one day you say, no, when my brain tells me it's time to stop running, I'm gonna keep going.
Oh.
So my brain told me, at the halfway mark, you'll see it, to stop. It said, you've been working on this for so long. And yes, it still looks not great.
Is that what your brain sounds like?
Yeah, my brain talking to me is just this whole thing.
Why does your brain sound like me?
I don't know what to say to that. Is that my voice for you? When I imitate your voice, is that what I do? This is my voice I do for you. I'm Ben. I don't know why, but it is.
It's very enjoyable.
So I worked on this fellow for a long time, and I tried new strategies and experimented. For example, I decided to draw the head real big and then shrink it down, and I regretted doing that. I regretted it. I felt like it really condensed my pixels way too much and made things probably muddier than they needed to be. It just wasn't the best method, actually, like I thought it would be.
Okay. So why are you doing it this way? This is a technique I've never seen you use before.
Of just drawing the head larger?
Yeah, like where'd you get this idea?
From my head. I got it from my noggin. Clearly, professionals don't do this because it probably doesn't work.
Well, it working on something individually apart from the whole, I could see how that, trying to piece all those individual pieces back together would not work. Because your values are going to be different. Your values are definitely, off here. And I think, obviously you're going to get them closer, but I think overall working on the whole is a better idea.
I think you're right. I think I really wanted the opportunity to be able to be more detailed, and a way to do that was to make this larger on my canvas and have more pixels to work with. Then I shrink it down, and lo and behold, wanted to continue working on it, and it was still just it was difficult to maneuver. So I value this moment because I learned from it. But I did toss it out the window.
Yeah? Okay. Like the whole thing? You just threw it away?
The head?
Yeah, you just delete it?
I don't delete it.
Oh, you keep working on top of it?
Yes.
Okay.
And when I say keep working on top of it, I mean I completely draw over it and start over.
So you delete it.
Yes, but
that's very Abby fashion.
That's where the competition with myself begins, because initially, I had said, no, it's fine and it's done and I'm tired of working on it. And I think I've gained all I can from this. I did have you glance at it at one point, and we'll see your red marks pop up about halfway through.
Oh, yeah? I looked at it for all of 30 seconds.
Yeah, I didn't. They were some good pointers on angles and stuff like that. So around that time, though, I was about ready to put it away, and then I said, no, I really think there's more to this. I really like this piece. I really like the JPEG. I love the lighting.
I love the JPEG.
I love the JPEG. So I really wanted to do it slightly more justice. And the shirt was really fun to work on. It still looked really, really messy, and I spent way too long just trying to do little flippant things on it to try to get the idea of the shirt across.
Using the selection lasso, I like it.
Yeah, to try to get some harsher edges and finer edges there.
It's working.
Yeah. I spent probably most of my time on this piece just playing with the shirt and trying to make it look different ways. I wouldn't say everything I did to it was an improvement, but it was all learning. This was definitely a learning piece for me. I felt like I was adding a lot to my craft, even if this specific piece was not like a big success.
Not the big success.
Exactly.
But I mean, it's getting there. So like when you chose this, were you like, oh, I really just want to try this shirt, or did you even think about the shirt before you got in?
Oh, I definitely thought about the shirt. The shirt was primarily what I liked, but I loved just the lighting here. I don't know why, but it reminds me of like the way a storm can roll in and you can have complete darkness on one side of the sky with the storm, and then the sky just somehow opening up into this bright golden light on the other side. And so the way this scene is lit made me think of that. Like there's a storm right out there, but maybe he's facing another window, and all this light after the rain that's chasing the storm is pouring in.
Okay.
And I think that's such a beautiful feeling and moment when you're outside experiencing that. And so that's what this JPEG made me feel. And therefore, just that connection to it, to weather and storms and whatnot, which who can't appreciate a good like moment like that? It was just very fun to work on because it kept me in that feeling.
Well, it definitely looks like, fortunately or unfortunately for you, an artificial light source of some kind, just based on the color and direction of the light. That's at least what I get. Based on the sharpness of the shadows as well, it's probably a small close-up light.
Yes,
I guess.
it probably is.
Very quick fall off on the light.
And that's art, isn't it? It's all about what you, the viewer, experience from it.
Yeah, it's a really cool reference and a really difficult piece, I think, in general.
Yeah.
So this is the halfway point.
So this is the point where I was ready to, and I'm really zooming in because I want to just show like where I was ready to leave it and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of working on this. And you can see it's just kind of
That's Abby year 1 of Drawbli.
Yeah. Abby year 2 is ready to keep going now. There's your red marks. Like, what? Where's his hands? What's going on here? What? And so I'm like, oh, you're right. I can't believe I just decided to not draw the hands because I was too tired to do that. Or not too tired, but like tired of it. So I'm like, no, I'll start drawing the hands, and I do improve the hands later.
I did very minor critique. I like circled a couple of things, like maybe 3 things. I was like, you could do these if you want.
I had worked on it.
But you seemed like you were pretty done on it. You were like, I don't know if I'll actually do something. So.
Yeah. And I had worked on it enough at that point that I no longer had like good eyes to see it. Like I needed to take a break from it truthfully to be able to see things that were wrong with it.
Yeah. How long of a break did you take in between?
I'm not sure. Maybe even a couple days, actually. Maybe a couple days. The whole thing, I've probably spent a total of 4 hours on this. So, not a lot in the grand art scheme of things, but for me, that's again about where I'm landing.
For a Drawbli, yeah.
For a Drawbli, that's where I've been landing pretty consistently lately.
And there goes the face.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, face.
This is where I really channel your energy of being comfortable with the alien stage, because when I initially start blocking this in, I'm like, oh, this is not better. It's on a new layer, so I'm like, I can do what I want. I can always go back to my old version. But I just felt like I could have done so much better. So
yeah, I think it's interesting watching you tackle this because it's still very much an alla prima style where you go straight in with the paints. I definitely would have taken some time to do some lines to like mark up the proportions to just get the basics down. And they're not going to be perfect, but at least it gets me started in a good direction, and then I can come back in later and adjust the proportions.
It's interesting how much I've come away from that recently, and sketching still is a very enjoyable part of the process to me. It probably depends on where my headspace is at when I begin a piece, like am I sitting down thinking, oh, this is just going to be a quick study, and lo and behold, hours later, it was not a quick study, which is probably the case when I'm blowing past the sketching stage.
Yeah, I think the sketching stage can actually help alleviate or entirely remove the like alien or awkward phase just by, having a rough sketch down to help figure out the placement of certain objects.
Absolutely. Now, I'm already a lot more pleased with how things are going here. I like this face a lot more. I do shrink the head quite a bit, thank goodness, by the end of this, because I think it's quite a bit too large for the body that I have. But yeah, I was, at this point, honestly, it's already at a point where I could have left it alone.
Now, you had the hair on there earlier. Do you redo the hair as well?
I do redo the hair as well, yes. New hair, don't care.
New hair, don't care.
Yeah.
So, between the face and shirt, what was the hardest part of this?
The shirt. I think I kept coming back to it over and over and over, and I spent the most time on the shirt compared to the rest of this piece. So just from a time factor alone, the shirt.
The shirt is extremely complex, and it looks awesome.
Thank you.
You did a really good job.
Oh, thank you. It was really enjoyable to work on, and that was the nice thing about it. It was like no matter how many times I went back to it, I was still having a good time, like figuring out how to do such like it's like almost like a silky blouse is what it looks like to me.
Yeah, it's definitely translucent, or at least a little translucent.
And the colors are also similar that I didn't realize till very late in the process, like here, like how open it is down his chest. I just didn't even notice till like hours into this. So I did do a little bit of that to try to get that in there as well a little bit later on.
Yeah, sometimes what I'll do on images where they have all these, this value range that's so similar is that I'll go through and like brighten up my reference image or darken the reference image just so I can see what the heck's going on. Where I'm like, oh, that actually is his chest there. Or like sometimes if the background was darker, his hair might blend into the background. You can't tell like where it starts and begins, like starts and ends.
Yeah, a nice lost edge, huh? Yeah, that'd be cool. I did try to focus on the values here, like these back values of the back of his arm. I tried to drop those because I really wanted the focus to be the light coming in at him and just to desaturate those back area a little bit and make it less of an area of focus.
Wow, what an artist over here, making artistic decisions of focus.
I know, listen to us go. We're improving. We're getting there.
We're doing
this is
it.
the
We're
process.
doing it.
This is what it looks like. Yeah, I really like this piece in the end. I do think I could have gone even further, truly, but I
think you left it off in a fantastic place. And I'm really glad that you decided to not give up at the halfway mark and continue to push on this, because I think it looks, one, obviously so much better, but two, you pushed yourself and I think grew a lot more as an artist.
Thank you. I am also glad I did that. Here's the side-by-side of the old versus the new.
A huge improvement, I would say.
Yes.
Awesome job. Wow. That's
Thank
actually
you.
really cool to see side by side.
Yeah, it's fun. And it kind of like, even though the second image isn't like the most perfect finished image, look how much better it is than the old image. Just compete with yourself and you'll be happy.
And if you want to be happy, you should click that like and subscribe button.
And share your work on Instagram with the hashtag Drawbli, because drawing is better with friends.
And this is the part where we say
goodbye.
Goomba. Do you think that it feels a little nefarious to be telling our audience that if they want to be happy, they have to subscribe?
That is your decision, not mine. I did not endorse that statement.
We cannot be legally held accountable for your happiness.
Yes, but maybe fiscally accountable.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we can still be sued then. Great.
Yeah.